Ah, here we are.
In the break,
Take two.
having told you of the horror of lying on that couch and kissing 15 men, I don't think I'd mind it today at all.
Which brings us to the title of that song, You're Either Too Young or Too Old.
Yes, that's
which
right.
was, you were saying during the break also. May I get that for you, or does that offend you?
Oh, no, I'm not woman's lib.
Well, I am, you know.
You mean you've liberated a lot of women? You see, really, only the man can do that anyway. Liberate women.
Oh, it's a
Well, it's a very intimate subject, which you'll not go on with.
Oh.
But no, a man who really loves you is a kind of a wonderful liberation. You feel like a different person.
And yet you said
I'm not hinting.
No, but we know each other well. You came up to my dressing room last time before the
Yes,
show
I
and
know.
caught me in my
I didn't dare
underwear.
this time.
Yeah. You did. You're one of the few people to see me in my underwear.
Well, I told you your legs were beautiful.
I know. You know, you said, that gets me to something, but you said one time a thing that I haven't forgotten. You said that if I had it to do over again, which already is a risky thing to say,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't marry.
As early.
Ah, as early. I misremembered.
And I
part
would
of
have always married somebody with money.
it. You would.
I mean, I would not have married just for money. No, this is serious. But I would not have married someone who could not support me. Because that is the death of any marriage. Men don't like this.
And that's where the
They
trouble
think
came.
beforehand that it doesn't matter. And I'm a very, everything that was mine was always anybody else's, which was my greatest mistake in the world because they took most of it. But that's the way I had to do it. I couldn't say, I have this and you have that. And however you have to be, you have to be. But no, I would never have married anybody who did not have his own niche in the world. That was the one big mistake I made.
hard on the man,
Except I got a beautiful daughter from one of these awful marriages. So there's good out of everything. I couldn't mind an hour of what that was like for Bede. I really couldn't. And who knows, I might not ever have had Bede.
Sure.
And I think my life right now without children would be a sad and sorry affair.
Well, you called your book A Lonely Life some years ago.
Lonely Life.
The Lonely Life.
Because I think the people in the art world, we're peculiar. We have a hard time finding people to travel with. We really do. Yeah. There is an extra sense there and we're very dedicated people to our work, which is not fun for a partner, really. And there's no other way to do it but just do it. There's never a shortcut in anybody's business to really learn it, It takes a lot of years to finally say you made it. It takes about usually 15 to 20 years.
Where do you get the nerve as a woman in a business like the movies, with everybody advising you're making the mistake of your career, when you went to court with the Warner Brothers, to go ahead with it? What private voices do you have that tell you
Well, I had voices that told me that I was in a dead-end road otherwise. I was just going to be some little... the story of Alexis Smith, for instance, with this play in New York. She was at Warner's all the time I was there. Played perfectly charming leading roles and all. But nothing was ever found out of her like is on that stage.
I know.
She's just... really. This must have been something that Alexis had all the time.
They didn't know what they had in her.
And maybe she didn't fight enough. Or maybe she didn't know she had it.
Yeah,
but I could never be second best. If I had to be second best in a business, I would go into another business. And I just was determined to at least finally learn my trade. And you can only learn your trade by doing good things, not just junk.
God's Country was the movie that you, I think, was that the title of the movie that you refused to do? The one that broke
God's Country and the Woman.
Camel's Back.
Yes. But the one I left on was The Man with the Black Hat with Warren Williams. I'd had it. This was it, you see.
Certainly a wonderful title.
So yes, always marvelous, yes. But anyway, when I came back from England completely defeated, I didn't have really a nickel in this world. and had to go back and play out my contract. Warner's issued an order that not one pressman was to meet me at the 12-mile limit. Now, you can imagine when I got into that harbor what it was like with the press. It was murder.
The case was in England. You lost the case there.
The case had been sensational even over here.
Yeah.
But a little man in Chicago, because at that time we traveled by train, hid out and came into my compartment in Chicago, even though he was told not to. He said, "Don't worry. It can never be any worse. They sold dishes with the man with the black hat to get them to come in." He said, "It can never be worse than that." Yeah. You know.
So, although you lost the case,
you
won.
It couldn't.
Yeah.
I won that case.
Even though the court...
Even though monetarily I didn't. Yeah. And I must say, Warner did... I had their costs, too, you see.
Yeah.
They paid those.
You had to pay the court costs.
Yeah.
The other question, then, is why didn't anybody else do it? Why don't more actors fight?
Olivia de Havilland finally did it. Olivia de Havilland won the case I fought in England, which really was a suspension clause. You see, you could sign for 5 years and be there 50 years later. If you refused to do it, this put you on suspension, take you off salary. When that picture was finished, they'd add it to the contract. Olivia is the one who got us the 7-year limit. They can never be a longer contract than 7 years anymore.
What about men? What about Bogart and Cagney and...
Well, they fought. You know, Bogart, Jimmy, and I think, had the same amount of suspensions from Warner's under contract there, about 16 or 18 apiece.
What do you do to get one? Walk on the grass?
You just refuse to do a part, and then they suspend you. They don't pay you. And then however long that film takes, they add to your contract. You see, so it really was a wicked, wicked contract. So Olivia won the case I tried to win.
If more actors would refuse to do crappy roles, would there be less junky movies?
I'll tell you what I think. If in that time, anyway, more actors had worried more about where their careers went and less about their salaries at that time, because that's not a time to fight for money. Money comes if the career comes. But so many people started going into business. They bought, motels, apartments, and they really stopped being actors. They were businessmen, and they played anything they gave them, and they could have helped if more people had refused. No question.
Did anybody at the time encourage you to do it, or was it unanimous that you were making a mistake?
Well, I never talked to many people in Hollywood about it. I never was one to go for advice much. I probably should have gone a little more than I did upon occasion, but no, this was my decision. Because I felt, and I do still feel, if you're beefing about anything publicly, either put up or shut up. Either go ahead and do the rotten movies and be quiet, or change it if you can. And I decided that I was going to try and change it.
Don't you think actors probably
don't... It did take courage. I look back on it now, and I haven't any idea how I had the guts to do that whole thing. I have no idea. But when you're young, and wanting to get somewhere, that's a terrific incentive. I just had to at least be given a chance to see if I was any good.
How old were you at the time?
Let's see. Oh, around 25. Yeah.
Gee, that's amazing.
Around 25.
Well, when we come back, let's take a look at a scene from Watch on the Rhine, and you want to tell me something about it before we do. Is that okay?
All right.
We'll do all that when we come back?
All right.